In this video, we'll talk about how to find a coterminal angle between 0 and 2 pi. So to find a coterminal angle to some angle, we just need to add or subtract any multiple of 2 pi. So there are two formulas that we can use to figure out how many multiples we actually need to add or subtract of 2 pi. So if the angle that we're working with is greater than 0, we use this formula, the angle minus k times 2 pi. But if the angle is less than 0, then to find the coterminal angle that's between 0 and 2 pi, we need to use this formula, the angle plus k plus 1 times 2 pi. So let's work through a few examples to see how to use these formulas. Let's say we have the angle 13 pi over 2. And let's say we want to find the coterminal angle that is exactly between 0 and 2 pi. Well, this angle right here is positive, so we're going to use this first formula here. So we'll say the angle 13 pi over 2 minus k, we don't know what k is yet, but we'll figure that out, times 2 pi. So the first step is this 2 pi right here, we want to write it as a fraction that has the same denominator as the original angle. So we need to write it as a fraction over 2. So if we think about 2 pi over 1, and we want to rewrite this as a fraction with a denominator of 2, how do we go from 1 to 2? We just multiply by 2. So we can multiply the numerator by 2. So 2 pi times 2, that's 4 pi over 2. So that's our first step. Let's rewrite this as 13 pi over 2 minus k times 4 pi over 2. Okay, the last step is we have to figure out how many 4's will go into 13 without going over. So how many 4's can go into 13 without going over 13? That would be 3. So 3 is our value for k. So we can write 13 pi over 2 minus 3 times 4 pi over 2. So to get our final answer, we just distribute this 3 into the parentheses. So 3 times 4, that will be 12. So our final answer will be 13 pi over 2 minus 12 pi over 2. And because these two fractions share the same denominator, we can just subtract the terms in the numerator straight across. So 13 pi minus 12 pi, that's just 1 pi, or just pi, over 2. So that is our final answer. The coterminal angle to 13 pi over 2 that falls between 0 and 2 pi is pi over 2. Let's try another example. Let's say we have the angle 27 pi over 4, and we want to find a coterminal angle that is between 0 and 2 pi. Well, this angle right here, 27 pi over 4, that's positive. So once again, we're going to use this first formula here. We're going to use the angle itself minus k times 2 pi. So let's write that. 27 pi over 4 minus k, we don't know what k is yet, but we'll figure it out, times 2 pi. So remember the first step is we want to rewrite this 2 pi to be a fraction with the same denominator as this angle. So if we have 2 pi over 1, how can we rewrite this to be a fraction with a denominator of 4? Well, 1 times 4 gets us 4. So in the numerator, we can just say 2 pi times 4, which would be 8 pi. So we can rewrite this as 27 pi over 4 minus k, and we're going to write this as 8 pi over 4. Now remember the next step, so we just want to figure out how many 8's will go into 27 without going over. Well, that would be 3. So 8 times 3 gets us to 24. So we will write k is going to be equal to 3. 27 pi over 4 minus 3 times 8 pi over 4. So we just need to solve this. So we'll distribute this 3 into these parentheses right here. So we'll get 27 pi over 4 minus 3 times 8 pi, that's 24 pi over 4. So now we just need to do 27 pi over 4 minus 24 pi over 4. So because they share the same denominator, we can just subtract the terms in the numerator straight across. So 27 minus 24, that's 3 pi over 4. So that is our final answer. 3 pi over 4 is an angle that is coterminal to 27 pi over 4, and it belongs between 0 and 2 pi. Let's try another example. Let's say we have the angle negative 14 pi over 5. Well, for this example, to find a coterminal angle that falls between 0 and 2 pi, we're going to use this second formula here. Since this angle is negative, we're going to use this second formula. So let's write that. Let's say negative 14 pi over 5 plus k plus 1 times 2 pi. So remember, the first step is we need to write this 2 pi as a fraction with the same denominator as the original angle. So we want it to have a denominator of 5. So if we have 2 pi over 1, how can we write this as a fraction where the denominator is 5? Well, to go from 1 to 5, we need to multiply by 5. So we can multiply the numerator by 5 as well. So 5 times 2 pi, that's 10 pi. So let's go ahead and rewrite this whole thing using 10 pi over 5. So we get negative 14 pi over 5 plus k plus 1 times 10 pi over 5. Okay, now we ask ourselves, how many 10s can go into 14 without going over? Well, 10 can only go into 14 one time, so k is just going to be 1. So we can rewrite this as negative 14 pi over 5 plus 1, k is 1, 1 plus 1 times 10 pi over 5. Okay, so now we just need to solve this. So we get negative 14 pi over 5 plus, this is equal to 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. So if we distribute this 2 into these parentheses, 2 times 10 pi, that would be 20 pi. So we get 20 pi over 5. So the last step is we just need to add these fractions. So since they have the same denominator, they're both 5, we can just add the numerator straight across. Negative 14 pi plus 20 pi. Well, negative 14 plus 20, that would be a positive 6. So we get 6 pi over 5. And that is our answer. So 6 pi over 5, this is a coterminal angle to negative 14 pi over 5, and it falls within the range 0 to 2 pi. All right, let's try one last example. Let's say we have the angle negative 17 pi over 2, and we want to find a coterminal angle that falls between 0 and 2 pi. So because this angle, negative 17 pi over 2, is negative, we're going to use this second formula again. So let's write that. So we get negative 17 pi over 2 plus k plus 1 times 2 pi. Now once again, we want to rewrite this 2 pi so that it is a fraction with the same denominator as our original angle. So a denominator of 2. So if we have 2 pi over 1, how can we rewrite that as a fraction with a denominator of 2? Well, to go from 1 to 2, we just multiply by 2. So in the numerator, we'll multiply by 2 as well. 2 pi times 2, that's 4 pi. So let's rewrite this as negative 17 pi over 2 plus k plus 1 times 4 pi over 2. And now we ask ourselves, how many 4s will go into 17 without going over? Well, that would be 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So now we can rewrite this. So k is 4. That's what we just found. So we can rewrite this as negative 17 pi over 2 plus 4 plus 1 times 4 pi over 2. Okay, so we just need to simplify. So we get negative 17 pi over 2 plus, so 4 plus 1, that's 5. So we do 5 times 4 pi over 2. So 5 times 4, that's 20 pi. So we'll get 20 pi over 2. So our final answer will be negative 17 pi over 2 plus 20 pi over 2. So since they share the same denominator, we can just add the elements in the numerator straight across. So negative 17 plus 20, that's a positive 3. So we get 3 pi over 2. And that is our final answer. 3 pi over 2 is the coterminal angle to negative 17 pi over 2 that falls within the range 0 to 2 pi.